In today's tutorial, let's work on a bold angles pillow, and this is by Yarnspirations.com. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to work on the bold angles pillow that you see on this side here of the screen. And this is one that we did last year with the bold angles pillow, but you can see that the angles are going in a different direction. So here is this year's kind of style that we're going to be working with today. Let me tell you a little bit about the differences between the two, and then we're going to dive into this pattern. So last year I made this one here, and there's a full tutorial available on how to do this as far as reading the graph in order to do it. The only difference between the two is that the graph is different. Obviously the shapes are different, therefore the graph would be different. So if you would like to follow this one, we have it here on YouTube. You should be able to follow that. But the instructions on changing the yarn colors and the bobbins and all of that wonderful jazz with this particular pattern is the same on both. The only difference is that the graph is different, so you just have to be able to be conscientious of doing that. So to play today, you'll need a 5mm size H crochet hook today, and we're going to be using Caron 1 pound yarn to make this particular example. Now let's go through the pattern in more detail. Before we get into the written instructions, you have a front side and a back side to this particular pillow. We have the front side here that you see here. These are not sewn together. This is a one-piece unit that we're changing the yarn colors as we crochet in the rows going all the way up, and therefore it's one face. The back here is consistent of two panels, and so if you really look carefully right about this mark right here, you'll notice that it looks a little bit different because this panel is folding up into here. So this pillow can be removed for washing. So it's just a matter of just reaching into this particular slot, pulling out the pillow form, and you'll be able to wash your pillow if you need to, or even wash the form itself. So this is on the back made up of two panels that overlap each other, and they're overlapping maybe each other about 2 inches right here, and it's a really kind of a cool thing. So when you go to sew the back here to the front, what happens is that you come along and you're just going to attach it, I believe, with the single crochet. We'll get to that in a bit. And then when they start becoming overlapping, you just have to put that piece and this bottom piece together as you're attaching it to create this pocket that you see here. You go all the way around and etc. So it's a really kind of a cool idea. So you don't have to do this particular work on the back side if you don't want to. And if you prefer the back side just being one unit, then just keep on crocheting until it matches the shape of this, and then just being able to single crochet it all together if you don't need to remove your pillow form. That's completely up to you. So in the instructions today, there's only 2 pages because we're going to be following a graph today. It's like a Graphghan. If you ever wanted to learn Graphghans, this is the one to do it. It's considered intermediate because you have to play with different yarns at the same time in order to get the look that you see. So there's a difference of 4 different colors that you see here. It's all Caron 1 pound yarn, but the reality is that there's not a lot of written instruction because we have to follow the graph that is on page number 2. So let me just flip that over, and so it shows you what the back panel looks like right there. It shows you that you're going to be doing some reverse single crochet right in the very end. We have videos on that as well, but here is the graph in order for us to follow. In each one of the boxes that you see across represents a stitch. So let me tell you how to read this graph, and then we're going to go from that point. So here's a copy of the graph. All I just did is a screenshot, blew it up, put it in my printer, and voila, bada boom, bada bing. So each one of the blocks represents a stitch within this idea. So if you count the number of blocks, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. I could actually just start writing on my pattern here that was 14 blocks. So it helps you to be able to make notes on your pattern. So I got 14 here, and then you can count. Now the nice thing about this is that the stripes, when the designer did it, are all 16. I actually already went in advance. So technically there should be 16 of these whites. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Am I right? Am I right? I didn't know that actually. I actually counted way up here just to make sure because they all look the same to me. So therefore this would have to be 16 on this side to stay balanced, and then it ends with 14. So you'll notice that there's different colors being used on here, and I want to talk about bobbins because you're going to need different bobbins in order to work, because you're not just fastening off every time you finish a color. You're going to keep it onto your project, and then you're going to use it as you continually move up the rows. So what bobbins are is your yarn. So for example, you have a gray here, you have a white, you have a gold, and then you have a white. So this white here and this white are not the same yarn ball. They're different because they're in a different position. So as you crochet along, you're going to have a gray, and then you're going to drop the gray. You're not going to fasten off and leave it, and then you're going to start white. And then once the white's done, you're going to drop it, and then you're going to do gold, and then drop it, and then you'll have your white here on the other side. So you have two different whites as you see. Now when you come back with, you'll have white again, you drop it, the gold that you did drop you're gonna pick back up and start again with the gold, and then as soon as you get here. So you're gonna notice that you're gonna need different colors of yarn to be available to you that you'll always constantly pick up and drop off. The question is how many bobbins do you really truly need in order to have these? Now for myself, I have extra yarn because you know I'm a yarnaholic, so I might actually have 2 balls of white here, so I don't have to roll up a mini ball in order to do a small section like that. So that's completely up to you on how you want to do it. But let's take a closer look at the bobbins and see what we're gonna need. So as you begin, what's gonna happen is that you need a gray, white, gold, and white. Okay, so then you need 4 bobbins. So you have 1 here, 1, 1, and 1. But look what happens on row number 2. When you move this up, you're gonna need a white, gold, gray, darker gray, white, and then gray. So that means that you have 6 bobbins. So when you keep moving them up like this, you can determine how many bobbins that you're gonna need to have to use at one time. So you have a white, gold, gray, dark gray, white, and gray. So when you start getting rid of colors, like for example you'll see that the white is eventually gonna finish just like this. So at this particular point here in the pattern you'll see that you'll only need a gold, gray, dark gray, and white as if you just follow across. It's only when you start getting at the bottoms of the chevrons is that you start adding more colors. So you have gold, and then gray, white, gold, dark gray, and white. So that means that when I'm looking at this I'm only ever gonna need 6 bobbins to use at any one time, and it's kind of a neat idea. So let's begin to look at this pattern from a perspective of doing the chaining, and I'm gonna show you how to change the colors, because once you start this it's not a lot of counting, because the fact is that right down the center is a difference of one color versus another, which makes it really quite easy to follow. And if you're using large yarn balls like I'm going to, it becomes very easy to be able to manipulate the bobbins as well. So let's go back to the pattern. You can either count the number of boxes here, or you can cheat by going back to the pattern. It tells you how many to start with your chain, and the starting chain is all one color. So you don't need to start a chain because it's virtually impossible to start a chain with all these different colors at the same time. So the first one is going to be just one color that we're going to use across, and then the first line going up we're going to go across. And then I'll teach you how to read the patterns as well. So let's go through a little bit of pattern reading too. So the designer says to start here. So what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna start at this point and read the number of boxes. So there's 14 boxes, 16, 16, and 14. So I'm gonna start off and go in this direction here. Okay, so I'm working my way across. When I get this, what I'm gonna do is use a highlighter, which I forgot upstairs. So I'm gonna highlight all the first boxes done. So I'm gonna just take my highlighter and just go across, and then on line number 2 I'm gonna go in the other direction and read it. So as I turn the project around I read the chart from this point of view and keep going this way. Okay, that was for row number 2. Then once I get that done I highlight it again, and then I start on the next row going in the other direction. So you're going to snake up back and forth in order to follow this, and just rely on the number of counts. The wonderful thing about this is that all of the different stripes are the same size. They're all 16 boxes whenever they're in the totals when you have it going like this. Here there obviously will be different until it gets to about here, and then it will be 16 again. So it's a really kind of an easy pattern to be able to follow, and I don't think you'll have much trouble with this at all. So let's actually now start to do our chain, and let's begin. So as stated, I need a Caron 1 pound yarn ball, and just use the colors that you would like to do. You don't have to use what's in the pattern if you don't like those colors, and if you want to make it more personal, it's up to you. It's just a suggestion. So Caron 1 pound, I'm going to put it onto the size H 5mm crochet hook today. It says to chain 61. Now you'll notice that there's only 60 boxes on there, not 61. That's because when we start it's going to go single crochet second chain from the hook. So therefore it will not that 60 plus 1, that 1 will not even exist. So let's just chain 61. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, go all the way to 61 for me. So my chaining of 61 is done, and I'm using the same color that is the gray when it says start here. So we're going to continue this color only just for 14 boxes or 14 stitches in order to make it work. So second chain from the hook, it says to single crochet in that one plus the next 13 in the instructions, but there's only a total of 14 altogether, so that's the same thing. So this is 1, 2, and 3, and I'm gonna show you how to change color. This is 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, 13, and 14. Now this is the 14th one. So this is the 14th one, and I cannot finish using the same yarn. I have to finish using the next yarn I'm about to start. So the next box that we're about to do, or the next stitch, is going to be the new color. So before you can do that, see this strand here? You need to move it forward and out of your way. It needs to come forward. You can't leave it sitting in behind. And what you need to do is take the new color, so I'm just going to use more of a beige, and you're going to take the new color and put that onto your hook and finish that 14th one off. And therefore that new color is then ready for you then for the next section. So the new color is white in the diagram, but I'm just gonna make it beige, and so for the next 16 it's gonna be this color. So let's count those out. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, this is 6, this is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. But 16 I cannot finish. If I finish 16 it will not work out. So this is the 16th one. Move this strand now in front, okay? And you're gonna grab another strand, and this now changes to gold. I'm just gonna use blue just as a representation, and I'm gonna put a loop here. There is no ties or anything, and I'm gonna put that on and pull that through to finish that. So for the next 16 then is going to be the gold. In this case I'm just gonna leave it as blue, and the next 16 are gonna be this color. So I got 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, this is 10, 11, this is 12, 13, 14, 15. This is 16. I do not want to finish the 16th one. Again, move this yarn in front and get another yarn ready. Okay, so these will be like your bobbins. So grabbing another one here, I want to start with this color and finish that stitch. So for the final there should only be 14 stitches left, and so for the final then I will just finish this off. So continuing along, again make sure these yarns are in front that you drop off, because you'll need those accessing when you come back across. So this is 1, and there should be a total of 14. So this is 2, 3, 4, this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, this is 10, it's 11, 12, 13, and 14. So let's recap what we have here. So this is the 14th, and let's recap exactly what we're looking at this moment. So right now here's a zoomed out view, and I just finished right here. So we have our colors here that we see, we have our center line, and we just did everything. All the yarn that we dropped that's leading to the yarn ball should be in the front side coming out of the project. If it's coming out of the back side, you're gonna have to frog and redo it. Okay, so it has to be on the front. So let's turn our work and do the next row up. Okay, so let's just turn our work. Do so gently. You don't want to twist all your bobbins all up, and we're going to begin starting on the other side. But let's go back to our chart and just quickly review. So coming back to our chart here, we're now on line number 2. So I will take a highlighter and I'll highlight that I've done number 1. And this time, do you see how there's one box left? So now there's only 13. So you can write the number 13 if you really wanted to help you. There's still only 16 of this color. And look, there's a new color coming into play right in the middle here. There's one each. So I'm going to have to add more yarn there. And then the white here, there's going to be 16 again. And look, there's going to be one less gray. So that'll be 13 over here on this side. So this time what I need to do is that I need to use all the bobbins that I have currently, and I'll have to add 2 more right to make up for the chevron that seems to be appearing to coming down. So let's begin. So we're going to use the same color to go back in the other direction, but we had 14 last time. This time it's only going to be 13. So coming into the first one, so let's count those out. So 1, and I'll get quicker for you, 2, and just keeping these strands out of the way. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is 9, 10, 11, and 12, and 13. So this is 13. You cannot finish 13. Remember what we said, if you finish the final one, then therefore the next one's not going to be ready. So what you have to do, shift the yarn forward. Okay, so it's now in the front here, and now you're going to grab the new back one over here, but watch what happens here. You want to use that strand to follow through. Now the problem with this is that if you do it right now, do you see how that you got this strand that's going to pop over on the angle right here? Well, you want to bury that in on your next one. So when you go into the next stitch, right, for 16, you're going to go into the gray here that you see, but you're also going to go underneath that blue one there to bury it so it drags it over. And you're going to use that so that it does a nice even line on the back. So you just got to watch that. So that was 1 of 16. So let's continue. So you got 2 and 3, 4, this is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So you cannot finish the 16th. So you got to move it forward again out of the way, and you're going to grab a new piece of yarn. So I'm just going to grab a gray, loop it around because we only have this only appear once. So you're going to loop it around and finish it like that. Okay, so the next one will be this new gray that you have. So just put in the new gray. So just going in, pulling it through, but you can't finish that because you have to drop it already. It's only 1 stitch, and then you're going to grab another piece of yarn, and that piece of yarn then is going to be your next piece that you're going to use. So let me just trim this off. Okay, so I got this color here, and I'm going to loop it around and finish that stitch just like there, and then use that just only for 1 stitch. So that's right in the center. So make sure you keep your strands in check and under control at all times. So you're going to use that new color, and remember you can't finish it because you're only doing 1 stitch. Move it forward out of the way, and now you're just going to grab this color that you were working with and now finish that. So it just gets really tedious right in the very beginning, but if you're managing your strings you can handle it. So the next 16 are this color. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's 10, 11, and 12, 13, 14, 15, and look, 16 goes into this new section over here, and watch what you have to do. See this straggler that's holding down and behind? You have to trap that into position so that it travels up in the right section. So just up, and remember we have slower tutorials available on how to do GraphGAN work if you need it. So that's the final one. You can't finish it there. This one has to come in front, and the new one has to come up being ready for you right there. So the remainder, there's only 13, should be this color. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So you got the right stitch counts there. So now when you stretch everything back out, all the strands that you changed with should be on the front side again, and so they'll be ready for you when you turn it around. So let's turn around our work, again doing so gently so you don't tangle all your strands. So moving up on row number 3, you'll notice that the starting now only has 12. You're noticing it's starting to come up on an angle like it's supposed to, so this time there's only going to be 12. So we could chain up 1 and 1 single crochet in the next 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so now you got your 12. Drop it, pull it forward, grab your new one that you had that you're changing it over to, finish it, and remember that's dragging over. Do you see that? So when you go into this one, the starting, come up onto that stitch and that one right underneath, and then finish it. So there's 16. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So I can't finish this one. I have to move it forward because at 16 I'm ready for the new color here that I have, and I'm going to use that new color to finish it, that stitch. And again, that one comes up on an angle. Do you see how that comes up? So when I go into the next one, I just want to go in. Okay, so I'm going into the stitch plus underneath that one that's coming over, finish it. And this one only has 2 this time, so going in, pulling it through, and then coming forward, switch to the next one, finish it. Okay, the next 2 are this color, so going in, okay, that one I can finish, and the next one I cannot finish all the way. I move it forward, and then I bring up the next yarn that we have, which is this teal blue. Okay, and then go for another 16. So do you see, it's all about the yarn manipulation of keeping everything in count. This pattern really is really no big deal, to be honest with you. It's just a matter of keeping your counts. The counts are really easy. It's not like there's any kind of weird shapes going on inside this particular project, and I think that you'll enjoy it just for that matter. So I should be counting to 16, but I'm not. I'm now aware of the pattern, so I know that this particular one here is that it's leaning back into an angle, and because of that I'm just going to go 1 extra because that's what it shows in the pattern. So you can get kind of used to what's going on in this. Okay, so I'm going to go into this color here, and then I'm just going to come through and let it fall in front and grab the next color to finish. Okay, and so then this is the remaining then on this side. So there should only be 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So now when I'm done this, all the strands that I dropped should now be in the front of the project just like I had before. You see them all here. Isn't that great? So therefore I know that everything is on track and everything is ready for me, and this is how you do this particular pattern. You can kind of start to see now the chevrons are kind of moving out just like this as it shows in the pattern, and this is really not a hard pattern in order to work out. So it's actually a really neat idea, and I hope that you enjoy this. Remember that we do have more intensive video tutorials on doing GraphGAN work, and we have a whole series on that if you wish to learn that even further. But this is the Bold Angles Pillow, another free pattern by Yarnspirations.com. Please enjoy, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.